manufacturing products. But many of these really don't get, many of them fall into the valley and die off. Why is that happening? Particularly in India, we have this constant complaint that research is not getting into the market. So what really happens, basically if you look at the way we think in an academic environment when you're doing research, you're actually looking at different things, different ways to find a solution, or different ways to improve on things. So basically our ideas are moving in different directions. Some A says let's do it this way, B says no, that's wrong, let's do it this way. So we have a lot of different ways of doing, there's a lot of more chaos in the thinking. It has to be there if you want to be innovative. If you want to really think of new things, you have to look at things in a different way. You have to look at not the traditional way where somebody is currently being manufactured. You want to look at the problem in a different way. That's how you innovate, you come up with something new. This is what Apple did. They looked at the icon of the iPhone in an entirely different way. Okay, so you need to keep looking at it. But unfortunately, in production, it has a very organized system. There's no risk. Everything is known exactly what you do. Because you need to minimize the variability if you want to really produce consistently products of high quality to meet the market demand, market needs. So production is very organized. You don't have room for this sort of different ways of thinking. It's very organized. So this move from this sort of a chaotic thinking into production is a big problem. How do we get people to do that? How do we get the processes organized to simplify the fashion? So this is where development comes. This is where in the industry we all need to work to move the ideas and concepts from research which are not well organized into an organized process and move it into production. This is one of the fundamental issues between research and development is you need to get your thinking more organized. Okay. Can you get this working? So research and development, they are part of the same funnel. If you want to have new products in the market, innovative products, they are part of it. It works. So fundamentally, but what is the difference? So what do we mean by research? What do we mean by development? So research is driven by technology opportunity. We see a lot of science there, new science happening. Everybody talking about nanoparticles, nanomaterials, nanobiomaterials on one side. We have molecular biology, gene expressions, genetics, and all these two in fact coming together. Probably in tissue engineering, we talk about bringing materials and tissues together to bring new ways of providing healthcare delivery or treatments. So primarily you drive research through technology opportunity, new science, new engineering. We experiment with ideas and technology, finding new solutions for a specific problem domain. It implies a lot of scholarly or scientific inquiry to understanding the basics of what is really the science, what is the chemistry happening there, what is the physics of it. So we need to understand the fundamentals, the underlying phenomena, the underlying science in it. So a lot of scholarly or scientific inquiry is required. So hence it's basically better carried out in academic environments where we have young people, a lot of interesting minds. They have this ways of looking at it and asking, is this right? Maybe this is a better theory to explain what really is happening. So generally ends with the proof of concept stage. So what happens is research in an academic environment usually ends with the proof of concept. So you have a prototype, you have an experiment, you say this is how it works. So you have a proof of concept. And usually what happens, all this results in publication, journal papers, presentations, maybe a patent. So this is where you have a stage of research that ends in a proof of concept. So what is development? So development many times is driven by demand pull. That is, somebody wants something in the market. I want a new device. So there's a demand pull from there. The second is also called appropriability. What do we mean by appropriability? It's not enough. We have a proof of concept. Can it be manufactured? Is it appropriate? Does it have the inputs? Is it capable of being scaled up to produce large volumes at low cost? This is concept of appropriability to technology. So many times using known techniques and technology as a starting point. So what you do in development, you start with techniques and technology which is already there, but you build on it, you innovate on it, you use the technology in a different way, you use the process in a different way, you modify it. That's where sometimes innovation comes in. You modify a process and you have a new technology sometimes. Sorry. So basically, another step in development is, if research is done, you want to take it into manufacturing and production. So moving further when research is completed. Scaling up, process standardization, vendor development. So these are all parts of vendor development. You need to do that. If you don't have good vendors who can supply you quality materials, quality components, you don't have a product. Simple things like capacitors. Quality capacitor, you don't have a circuit. After 3 years, your circuit will stop functioning because it ends up in failures. So, vendor development, in fact, one of the challenges many times in manufacturing. Process standardization, particularly in diabetic industry, can be a challenging issue. And so, these development as such is better carried out in industry and manufacturing. So, this is fundamentally the difference between what we mean by research and what we mean by development. I hope all of you got the next one, please. So from Bhuvaneshwar, I just explained, because I just joined, so what do we want to do in Bhuvaneshwar? Primarily in terms of the young growing Indian company, I would say Chennai-based happily, because I'm in Chennai now for that. So what do we want to do? So primarily we are saying, for research, we will link with universities, colleges like SRM, basically where the real science is, where the knowledge base exists with the academia, so primarily. And then we will build our development team, collaborate in developing products, research is completed, look at acquiring greenfield developments. You have a lot of entrepreneurs. Somebody here innovated something, started a small industry, developed it further, but you may find it difficult to scale it up, set up a manufacturing plant and take it into the market because it requires a lot more investment and money there. So this is where maybe sort of partnering with Bhuvaneshwar or Bhuvaneshwar partnering with you can help develop it and take into manufacturing. Okay, next one. Primarily we are looking at what we call a technology-driven approach. So identify good research groups and leading R&D labs in the country and challenge them. So we want to go to academia and say, okay, here is a problem, can you find a solution to this? Can you develop something for us? And market-driven approach where we identify products with improvements on new USPs. USPs are the unique selling points. Whenever you want to sell a new product or something different, you need to have a unique selling point, something that differentiates your product from the rest. This is one, this is a component problem. Can I give it much? I don't know how to say it. Okay, so that is our market-driven approach. And second one is what we call innovation-driven approach, where we identify unmet clinical needs. So one of the biggest challenges in medical is how do we identify needs? Where does it come from? Unmet needs primarily has to come from the medical side, from the clinicians, from the hospitals. That is why, as a colleague mentioned, it's very, very important for biomedical engineers to work closely with hospitals and clinicians. Because the clinicians are the ones who are basically managing the patients, basically seeing the problems in healthcare delivery, treating the patient, curing a disease, whatever happens. So the unmet needs of healthcare delivery and treatment has to be identified in the hospital environment, in the clinical environment. It cannot be done in a lab, it cannot be done in a university. It has to happen where treatment is taking place, patient level. So that's where the innovation has to come. We have to have linkages with clinicians and clinical advisors. So that's one link up that we're looking for, how to have hospitals, clinicians, which are essentially needed for us to identify unmet needs, which will drive some of the products and actually expand our markets. And promote research for an innovative solution is one of the established centers. Question is who will develop the proof of concept. So this is where we have to go back to some of the academia, fund research, identify the need, identify the problem and say, can you find a new solution? So that has to be next one. It's not my finger, maybe a little not asking. So other approach is to look at good research work completed. So somebody has done some excellent work. As I'm seeing at least about half of the good work done in IIT Madras. Young entrepreneurs. One way is for us to look at the market potential, the take it up in the pilot production. I think that's where the development really, when you say pilot production, is really development. Scaling up from a lab level into a manufacturing stage. Products developed needing manufacturing. So one is, like you already have a small product, something developed, you have one. How can you improve on it? So you can assess market potential, look at interoperability, the technology, look at investment risk, because nobody wants to put money if it's going to be a failure. How do you really make sure that investments coming in will actually lead to success? There's no guarantees anyway, but you can at least try to maximize it by understanding the risk. And the last one is what we call value engineering. So how can you reduce costs? This is what a lot of people do. We're very good at in India. Can we reduce the cost of what we're making today? Can we reduce the cost, make it better? So that's cost reduction techniques which make product affordable, fine-tuning of design, vendor development. In fact, Maruti has done that extremely well in India in terms of vendor development and bringing down costs. That's one of the reasons they've been able to keep down the cost of the Maruti 800 for a long time. They were able to do that. Mainly because they went through a lot of fine-tuning of design and vendor development and were able to keep the cost down of the 800 cars. You also look at radical design and collaboration. Maybe you can also have an improved product. So like a new material. By changing the material in your product, you may be able to bring down the cost, make it perform better, improve reliability, and add value to your product. So that's broadly a very short thing of what innovation, invention is, a little bit of what development is. So I'd be happy to answer questions. It's much more easier for me to answer questions and have a discussion rather than give a talk, because I've been more a hands-on engineer than really a teacher.
Academic research seen in India is pretty bad. So what kind of deficiencies do you find how do you see the gap between the industrial research and the academic research in this country?
Go back 10 years, it's probably almost non-existent. That was part of the problem. Indian industrial research has been growing over the last 10-15 years, primarily like you had the Tatas or the nano car. Some amount of research and development, I would say more development has been going on. The pharmaceutical industry has definitely done better than many other sectors for very specific reasons. In fact, bulk of the successes have been in what is called the chemical process industry. That is refineries, to look at organic chemicals, to look at pharmaceuticals, basically drugs. You see a lot of strength exists in India in chemical process industries and reactions chemistry side. So we're very strong there, our businesses have done very well. And good research exists in those areas. But unfortunately, when they come to the electromechanical systems, whether in mechanical areas, automobiles, or even in civil particularly, or if you look at electronics and instrumentation, we have been very poor. So the electromechanical instrumentation segment has seen very little research investment effectively. The result, there are not enough industrial basis to have impact in the industry from an academia. So there is this gulf. Academia, I have not seen industry is not beating with academia. So there's a big gap. I think last 5 to 7 years, I'm seeing a tremendous change. Like I'm Trivitron now is located in the IIT Madras Research Park. I see a tremendous change in the environment there, linking with faculty. So within IIT, I can see a lot of difference. A lot more faculty willing to work in the industry. They have projects to work closely with the industry. So I think it's a relatively new phenomenon. It's growing, and I think they're doing it in the right direction. And I think other institutes are catching up. IIT Bombay is doing very well. IIT Delhi has an incubation center. I think Trichy NIT has a very good incubation center. And I think cities like Chennai, of course, have the opportunities to really collaborate because you have the industry around you. And all the metros, Chennai, Bangalore, I think we are seeing huge opportunities for linkages. So it's only a question of how faculty can add value to the industry. So if you can sell yourself that as a faculty, I can come solve your problem. I'm sure industry will be very happy to work.
As a biomedical engineer, so you've been in the industry for so long, what should be our main focus as
all aspects of engineering are applied. from civil, they can do structures, mechanical, electrical, electronics, molecular biology. So the question is, there's a tendency for many of us to become jack of all trades and master of none. So one of the issues. So I think one of the specific things is, at least at the master's level, you need to really focus. It is like what I would say, the parallel between MBBS and doing an MD or MS. At MBBS level, yes, you're a dental, you're a doctor, you know the basics, you know anatomy, physiology very well. So what I would suggest is, as a basic engineer, know engineering, basics of engineering very well. How to design, how to look at a product, how to visualize your product, the basics of engineering, basics of the physics, chemistry. But one of the things that unfortunately I find now is, though I did my BTech in electronics, we have a lot of drawing. And basically that enables you to conceptualize your product or divide in a 3D manner. Today I find bulk of a BTech, I'm sorry to say, but the bulk of the BTechs don't know drawing. So how do you design if you can't draw? It's a very, very fundamental problem. So what's happening is most of the engineers don't know drawing and end up in service sector, IT and all that, where drawing is not needed. So if you want to be a mechanical engineer, you have to take a basic drawing. We have the tools. The day I did, we are doing it on paper. When I did the hardware, we were all drawing it on paper. But today, you have AutoCAD and fantastic tools to really visualize your problem. See, there is an art in design. Design doesn't happen. You have to visualize it. There's a little bit of art in that. You need to be able to express yourself using a 3D tool. Today, actually you can do that. Very well in the BTech. At the master's level, try to specialize a little more. If you want to be in embedded systems, there's a big opportunity there, instrumentation, so on. So specialize, learn your programming well, be able to understand, learn what the different processes available are, how to use them effectively. So that's where you can add value when you go into industry. You have to be good at something to add value.
Thank you, sir.
On the topic New Age Integrated Operating Rooms. In the information age, operating rooms across the world are getting a high-tech makeover. Surgical robots, collage of patients' records, flashing on a big screen and video conferencing capabilities are few of the recent advancements done in operating rooms and hospitals. Doctors say any small amount of time we can save for the patient under anesthesia is a big benefit. Everything is at our fingertips now. It makes the flow of things a lot smoother and easier. Now I would call up Saloni to give a briefing about our speaker.
I graduated with a BSc in zoology, specializing in medical zoology in 1996 from SGTD Khalsa College, Delhi University, and an MBA in marketing from Birla Institute of Management Technology in 1998. Mr. Hemant Anand successfully completed a team building management development program at IIM Lucknow. Mr. Hemant Anand has worked as an industrial salesperson for launching the concept of selling anti-HIV drugs and promoting the concept of management of chronic hepatitis B during his work at GlaxoSmithKline India Limited as a medical sales representative from May 1998 to October